In the beginning of this Maamar, the Rebbe is explaining the famous Mishnah that says Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah Shecholi is b'Shabbos, and when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, we don't blow the shofar. And the Gemara explains that the reason for this is because of the concern that someone may end up carrying the shofar on Shabbos. Chassidus asks a question: how do we push off such an amazing mitzvah as shofar for this concern of some people may be carrying the shofar? The general answer Chassidus gives is that shofar is supposed to be achieving something. And when Rosh Hashanah falls out on Shabbos, that which shofar was supposed to be achieving is really basically achieved anyways through Shabbos itself. That is, every Rosh Hashanah Hashem is recreating the world. We need a cause and bring about Hashem's delight, Hashem's tainug, pleasure in creating the world. That's usually what shofar achieves. But Shabbos is a day of tainug. Shabbos, Hashem's tainug, pleasure is there on its own anyways, and therefore we don't really need to draw down Hashem's tainug through the shofar on Shabbos. And this is why the Chachamim could come along and say because of this extra concern, they're pushing it off completely. The Rebbe then asked a question that seemingly the whole idea of why we try to do this avodah on Rosh Hashanah, to draw Hashem's tainug in creating the world, even though right in the beginning Hashem also created the world before man's avodah, is because there's a special advantage when it's coming, Hashem's delight is coming as a result of our work, as a result of our service. Not only Hashem's pleasure coming on its own because Hashem wants to do kindness. And that's what's happening through our blowing shofar. If that's the case, we're seemingly back to square one. On Rosh Hashanah, when it falls on Shabbos, it's very nice that the Hashem's tainug is there by itself, but we want to do it through avodah, and that's what's missing. The Rebbe then went on and said, are you going to say, we still say the psukim of shofar on Shabbos in Musaf davening? But the Rebbe says the problem with this is, Chassidus explains that shofar is what brings about the hamshacha, the reva, that brings down Hashem's tainug. The psukim of shofar, because it's Torah is usually what reveals things. Torah is Torah oir. So the psukim are revealing the hamshacha, are revealing Hashem's tainug. If on Shabbos, when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, we're saying the psukim, but what the psukim is only to reveal the hamshacha, that which is there. But on Shabbos, what the hamshacha, that which is coming about, is because of Shabbos itself and not because of the shofar, not because of avodah. So seemingly we're still missing this advantage that's coming as a result of avodah. In order to explain this, the Rebbe brought the famous Maamar Azal, the famous Gemara that the Rebbe brings right in the beginning of Tanya. Mashbi and Oisei Tehi Tzadik. In fact, those first three prakim of Tanya were said as a Maamar right when the Tzemach Tzedek was born. The Tzemach Tzedek was born Erev Rosh Hashanah. The Alter Rebbe said the Maamar Mashbi and Oisei Tehi Tzadik on Rosh Hashanah. And the Rebbe says that there's a connection to this idea of Mashbi and Oisei to Rosh Hashanah. Mashbi and Oisei is usually the special oath that the neshama is made to take to be a tzaddik is just before he's born. And Adam Rishon is the one that's born or created on Rosh Hashanah, and every Yid is a part of Adam Rishon inside of him. And therefore, every single Rosh Hashanah, in a certain sense, is like the Yom HaLedes of every single Yid. And therefore, that's the connection to the idea of Mashbi and Oisei to Rosh Hashanah. In the next part of the Maamar, the Rebbe connects this idea of Mashbi and Oisei, that it's connected to Rosh Hashanah, with a medrash. That the medrash actually says on the words B'chodesh Hashvi, the pasuk refers to Rosh Hashanah as B'chodesh Hashvi be'echad la'chodesh. The medrash says B'chodesh Hashvi, the word Shvi is from the word Shavua, the month of oath. And the Tzemach Tzedek actually makes the connection between this idea of this is the month of an oath to Mashbi and Oisei Tehi Tzadik. And then the Rebbe goes ahead and explains that in Mashbi, in the idea of B'chodesh Hashvi, there's really three explanations. Shvi, in the simple sense, means 7. There's also what we just quoted from the Medrash, that is the month of an oath. And Shvi is also from Lashon Soiva, to be filled, to be satisfied. And the Rebbe brings a Medrash on this as well, that this is a month that's filled with all sorts of brachos and good things. The same three Pirushim, says the Rebbe, that Tzemach Tzedek brings on Mashbi and Oisei Tehi Tzadik. That Mashbi'in is that there's this oath that the neshama is made to take. There's also the idea of that Mashbi'in can be understood as masbi'in, Melashon Soiva, that it's filled up with koiches. And it's also from the word Sheva, which is 7, as we'll explain later, the connection to the number 7. Now, The Rebbe starts off first by explaining the connection between a shvuah, an oath, and the idea of soiva, of lashon, being satisfied. And the idea, says the Rebbe, is what is a shvuah all about? What is it what is an oath? An oath means that someone's interested in doing something and he's promising, he's swearing that he's going to do it. Now, seemingly, if he wants to do it, why does he have to swear he's going to do it? And the explanation is because taking the shvuah, taking that oath, means that he's connecting himself on the deepest level, from the most deepest part of his neshama, so that even there comes a time that he's not interested in doing it, and it becomes against his ratzon to do it, he's still going to do it. And the Rebbe says the same thing applies when Kavayachal Hashem takes an oath. It also means that it's coming, so to speak, from the deepest part, the essence of Hashem himself. And this is the idea really of Mashbi and Oisei Tzadik. A neshama comes down into the body, and it's possible there's going to be all sorts of things that are going to try to stop the neshama from doing its avodah. It has the guf and the nefesh habahamis. Especially, as the Rebbe says, the source of the nefesh habahamis comes from a world called Toyu, which is higher than where the neshama comes from, the world of Tikkun, and therefore the neshama needs to be given special koiches to be able to overcome the nefesh habahamis. And that is, number one, the shvuah that it's taken. It's promising, it's swearing that it's going to do the avodah. It's also the idea of mashbi and melashon soiva, that it's being given the koiches. And this is what helps the neshama to be able to do its avodah of tehi tzadik v'al tehi rasha. The Rebbe then went on and also brought something else from the Tzemach Tzedek, where the Tzemach Tzedek asks, how does the shvuah of tehi tzadik help for the neshama to overcome the guf and the nefesh habahamis, which seemingly, the Rebbe says it's something that's not within its domain yet. A person can't give over something that's not even in his domain. So how is the neshama now taking, before being born, before having to do with the guf and the nefesh habahamis, taking an oath about what's going to happen with the guf and the nefesh habahamis? And the Rebbe says that this is again connected with the idea that the oath of the neshama is really coming as a result and a continuation to an oath that the Eibishter makes. And because the oath that the Eibishter makes is coming kavayachal from the essence of Hashem, that's higher than the guf, higher than the nefesh habahamis, and this is what's giving the neshama the koyach to be able to do it. It's higher than the essence of Hashem, the way He's higher both than the neshama, the way it's in the world of Atzilus, and the nefesh habahamis, the way it's coming from Olam HaTikun. And that's where the oath is coming from. Therefore, and furthermore, as far as the Oirin Soif is concerned, from that element, from that part, from that aspect, the whole point of Toyu, right from the start with, in the Nefesh HaBahamis, was all in order that it should be transformed and elevated through the Nefesh Alikis. Therefore, it's considered that the Guf and the Nefesh HaBahamis is already, so to speak, within the domain of the Neshama, because L'chatchila, the whole point of why they were created was that they should be elevated and refined through the Neshama. We now start inside Ivov. Says the Rebbe, V'yeshloimar, sh'achiluk ben shnei ha'inyanim de mashbi and oisoi. What we spoke about, two translations of mashbi and oisoi. There's mashbi and melashon shvuah, that it's an oath is being taken, mashbi and melashon soiva, that the neshama is being satisfied. Now, the way we explained it so far, it sounded like more or less one general thing. It's being given the koiches, it's being satisfied with the koiches, and we said it's being. The idea of a shvuah is that it's connecting with the very, very essence of the neshama in its very root, in its very source, and that's what's giving it the koiches to be able to do its avodah. So what is the difference between these two similar things? Says the Rebbe, Hu shemashbin melashon shvuah, hu amshach as shoyrish haneshama. Umashbin or masbin melashon soiva, hu shamshach azu tiya begilui b'haneshama, k'moy sheba b'hamshacha. So the Rebbe says these two things are connected, but there are two parts to it. There's one aspect, miloshin shavua, which is the idea, like a shvuah we said, is connecting to the deepest part of the neshama. In a similar way over here, mashbi and oiseti tzadik means that the neshama is being connected to the source of the neshama, to its highest form, to its highest source, the way it's up above. But that's not enough. We also need that it should be revealed. And that's mashbi'in or masbi'in, melashon soiva, being satisfied, satiating the neshama with the koiches down here in this guf. That's the idea of soiva. that it should come down in a revealed way, in that that it's felt inside the guf. Bedug masviya kapshuta, similar to the idea of being satisfied in the literal sense. Sha'amaychel masbiya es adam, that the food satisfies the person. V'zeu the mashbiyin oisim lashon soiva hu nesinas koyach k'mavur b'kama makoymes, and that's what we mean, that the mashbiyin is from the word soiva, of being satiated. That's giving the person the koyches. In other words, yes, it's very nice, there's a shvuah, and that there is this hamshacha, the drawing down of the essence of the neshama. But in order for it to be more revealed inside the neshama as it's in the guf, once it's revealed, now it has the ability to overcome the nefesh habahamis, as we said before, in Seif Daled, and furthermore, not only to fight and overcome the nefesh habahamis, but even greater than that. Also to refine it, also to elevate it, because that's the ultimate real reason of why it came down over here. Not only to be able to withstand the guf and the nefesh habahamis, but to be able to transform and elevate the guf and nefesh habahamis. But Tanya has explained in Tanya that the whole purpose of why the neshama came down here is loibish for the neshama. It's not really so much for the neshama itself, which would then be, even if it overcomes the nefesh habahamis, then the neshama gained. Then the neshama is able to be elevated and do what it has to do, etc. Ella, the point really was, ultimately it's about transforming and elevating the guf and the nefesh habahamis and its portion in the world. And therefore, these are the two ideas of mashbiyin and the idea of soiva masbiyin. On the one hand, we need to connect the neshama to its source, but it's much more than that. We need to reveal it down inside as the neshama is in the guf and the nefesh habahamis. That's the idea of soiva, in order to be able to elevate and reveal and uplift and refine the guf and the nefesh habahamis. In the next paragraph, the Rebbe now speaks more in the spherois of how this all plays out. And now in this paragraph, we're also going to see how the third meaning of the word mashbiyin, or that we said is from the word of shavua, and also from the word of soiva, and how it also connects with the idea of seven. Sheva. Says the Rebbe, we connect this with what the Tzemach Tzedek says. The shavua, that the idea of a shavua is connected to the following three spheres. It's associated with the sphere of bina. B'yisoid u'b'malchus. It's also connected with the spheres of yisoid and malchus. So now the Rebbe looks at these three pirushim in the idea of the shvuah, mashbiyin. The zesh shvuah hi b'bina shayich la shvuah atzma hamshachas atik. We said the first thing about a shvuah is that we're drawing down the source of the neshama into the neshama. Earlier on, the Rebbe said that the source of the neshama is in the level of the way higher than ishtalshalus. It's higher than the spherois. It's connecting with the level of atik, the inner part of keser. So in other words, it's Hashem. We said binishbati is kvayachal, Hashem himself making an oath from that level, and so too in the neshama, drawing down the highest level of the neshama. The bina hu giluyatik. We know the sphere of bina. It says that atik reveals itself in the level of bina, and therefore that's the first element of the shvuah. Shvuah in the literal sense that it's an oath, and this is the idea of revealing the deepest source. The Rebbe says this idea that we say in bina is the revelation of atik, as it says, the nor yoytze me Eden, that a river is coming out of Eden. The Nahar hu bina, so the river refers to bina. Bina is usually referred to as a big, broad river flowing. But coming out of Eden, Eden means delight. Hu atik, this is the level of atik. So we see this idea that bina specifically is coming from atik. Opirish nar yoytze mi Eden, usheba bina hu gili atik, that means in this nar is the revelation of atik. So that's number one. Then there's the other aspect. We said that the idea is that it actually comes in a revealed way down in the guf and the nefesh habahamis, that the guf should be satisfied, so to speak, filled with these koiches. That's the level of malchus, the way it already came down, these koiches all the way down to the lowest place. When I said it's koyach b'neshama sheba'aguf, hu haydei sham shachi b'malchus. The way the shvuah, the oath, can actually impact the person down here, that's because it didn't remain up in bina, which is above and beyond, but it comes down into malchus. And finally, this that sometimes it says that the idea of a shvuah is connected with the sphere of Yesoid. Generally, Yesoid is that connection between the higher spherois and Malchus. So in order for Bina to give down that koyach into Malchus is through the level of Yesoid. And this is going to be now the third pirush, that it's connected to the number 7. That we know that there's different ways of counting the spherois, but in some places it discusses that Yesoid is considered the 7th, being 7th from Bina. Now the Rebbe continues, now we can start understanding the connection. The oath that the neshama has to take to be a tzaddik, with the 7th month, which is Tishrei, the month of the oath, which we said earlier is the time that the Eibishter makes an oath, the Yid makes an oath. So the Rebbe goes back to why is it that man is created on the 6th day of creation, which ends up being Rosh Hashanah. Yom Harishon the Chodesh Hashvi. Why does that happen? Why is it on the 6th day? So we know that Shnei Taimim, that generally the Gemara gives us 2 reasons which seem to be opposite reasons. On the one hand, on the one hand, that's to indicate that Adam, man, is considered the lowest or the last thing of creation. Earlier on we mentioned already these 2 places of Toyu and Tikkun, and we said that the Nefesh HaBahamis, but really all of Doimim Tzemei Chai, most of the things in the world all come from this world of Toyu, and the person comes from Tikkun, which is lower than Toyu. So on the simple level, he's coming last because he is the lowest. But then there's an opposite reason. On the other hand, we say he comes last because in a certain way he's greater than it all. How does that express itself by the fact that he's coming last? The Gemara says, the reason why man is created at last, so that when he comes to the table, so to speak, when he comes into the world, everything is ready for him. The whole meal is ready for him. The whole world is ready there for him to be able to deal with. That actually indicates and shows on the greatness of man. That everything else is there for him. It's all prepared so that when he walks into the world, it's all ready for him. How does this fit with the idea that we said everything else is from Toyu and the man is from Tikkun? Because in truth, even the fact of Olam HaToyu, the fact that it's there before Olam HaTikkun, is also only so that the person should be able to come and deal with Olam HaToyu, to be able to elevate all the sparks that come from Olam HaToyu, and etc. This also explains. This also explains, it's a famous question we say regarding Rosh Hashanah, this is the day of the beginning of your creation. How's it the beginning of the creation? It's the 6th day of creation. Even though the creation was on the 25th of Elul. So the answer is, because the whole point of why the world was created is that the world, the person should be able to make with this, through his avodah, a dira for Hashem with the world. That's why the world is created. When does that practically start? The whole purpose of creation. That starts when man is created. And the Rebbe points out 2 things over here. First of all, there is that now there is already the ability for him to be able to do his avodah, now that he is there. But it's going to go more than that. He actually practically starts doing the avodah. The Rebbe explains, in addition to the fact that now there is the ability for Hashem's intention to be fulfilled, now that man is here, he could go ahead and do the avodah. But it's not only that. It actually practically starts happening. K'maymer Azal, as the Azal tells us, that Adam Arishon, on the very day that he's created, he makes this big announcement to all of the creations. Let us go bow down and kneel in front of Hashem who made us. V'kulam anu v'amru, and all of creation actually responds. Hashem Malach Geus Lavesh. Yes, Hashem is our king. Says the Rebbe. So this is why we call it Zayom Tchilas Masechet. This is the real day of when it's all starting to happen, and when the whole purpose of creation is coming into play. Says the Rebbe, V'zeu shechodesh hashvi, shebay nivra ha'adam, hu yarcha de shavuasa. That's why we say the chodesh hashvi is the month of the oath. Why is that? Because of the whole purpose is that the person has to affect the world. Ki hakoyach sheyesh ba'adam lifol ba'olam. How does he have the ability to be able to impact the world? Even though practically in a revealed way he seems to be the last and lowest thing of creation. Is by the way he's going to have the koyach to do it is when we reveal the true source of man. That in essence, he's really higher than everything. When we connect him to his higher level of the way he's rooted higher than everything else. And that's revealed through the oath. As we were explaining the whole time, that the whole idea of an oath is to connect the neshama to its source and kvayochel to the Eibishter in his very deepest essence, and that's why we refer to it as Yarcha de Shvuasa, the month of oaths. Says the Rebbe the same thing is true Rosh Hashanah every single year. This is the time that the Yidden crown Hashem. And again, the Yidden are the ones, Shakri and Adam, they are the ones that are called Adam. As we mentioned already before, that every Yid has a spark from the Neshama of Adam Rishon. So they all crown Hashem just like Adam Rishon did it. They crown Hashem over themselves and the whole world as king. And thereby making the world a place for Hashem. And furthermore, furthermore, every year the coronation, and as a result of that, the making the world a place for Hashem is always in a greater way than the previous year. How does that happen? This happens by the fact that every single Yid, every single Rosh Hashanah, right in the beginning of this month of oaths, every year anew, there's a new hamshacha, there's a new drawing down of this idea of this shavua that the neshama is given to be a tzaddik. And furthermore, says the Rebbe, going back to what we said earlier, the Alter Rebbe said the Maamar at the beginning of Tanya. He said this on the first Rosh Hashanah when the Tzemach Tzedek was born. Says the Rebbe, by the fact that the Alter Rebbe said the Maamar of Mashbi and Oisiti Tzadik on Rosh Hashanah, Amiras Torah, which is Torah Oir, by saying the Torah on this idea of Mashbi and Oisiti Tzadik, bringing this about, this revelation of this Torah, that itself causes the revelation of the Shavua to be even in a greater way on Rosh Hashanah. Seif Ches. Says the Rebbe, Ula yesh lo Yosef, perhaps we could add another point. And here what the Rebbe is going to say, just briefly outside first, till now we said that all of creation, it comes before man because it's all there really for the person to make the dira b'tachtoinim. It's all there. She'ikonis l'sudum yatsa. It's all there, ready for him, which represents really that the person in his avoid, in a certain sense, is higher than everything else. But now what the Rebbe is going to say is that even the person is higher than, and even then the Shvua itself, or the Nesinas Koyach itself, and furthermore, even higher than the Dargos, where they are coming from. And by him fulfilling the Shvua and doing his Avodah, he causes an Ilui even in these highest Dargos. So let's see this inside. Ches. We quoted before the Gemara that says that man is created at the end so that he should be able to enter the meal, the feast immediately, which represents that really everything is there for him. What the intent of this is, doesn't only refer to the world, which the person is going to make it into a dira for Hashem. Elagam, what else is there only for him? That ability that is there for the person to be able to do his avodah, which we said is the mashbiya noisim lashon soiva. This idea that he's being satiated with all of these koiches, and the Rebbe connects it with the simple idea of soiva is satisfied from a meal. And we just quoted the Gemara that everything is there so that he should have the meal. He should come into the meal that it's all ready for him, in Yisuda. And all of that power from above that's there available for the person to be able to do his avodah, really all of that is also there only for the sake of the person. So when we say that the person is in truth, in essence, higher than all of creation and everything is for him, this includes gam hashvua, even that very shvua itself, which seemingly you would think is higher than the person. That's what's giving the person the koyach to do his avodah. But really, it's all there for him, which proves that in a certain sense, he's higher than all of that. Because the whole purpose of the shvua, Hamshachas b'chinas atik, which was drawing down this unbelievable great high level of atik, is all there for the person. And the square brackets, the Rebbe adds something even more fascinating, more amazing. The Rebbe says, "V'yashloimer yeseirim mizu, gam hakavana b'chinas atik atzmo." Even the purpose, the intent of why atik is there, this highest level of atik, what's it all there for? He b'shvil avodas adam is ultimately all there for man to be able to do his avodah. And therefore, so when the person does the shvua, fulfills the shvua, now he's causing a ilui in the shvua or an atik itself, because the intent of the shvua, it's fulfilling its purpose, it's fulfilling its mission, and therefore the person caused a maila even in that. Says the Rebbe in Seif Tes. This idea that we're saying on Rosh Hashanah the person is given the koyach to impact the world, to make it a place for Hashem. We can connect this to that which is explained in a number of places. Originally, when the Eibishter creates the world, Hashem's desire, Hashem's will, Hashem's delight of the world was coming just from Hashem himself. There was no avodah yet. It's called Ki Chafetz Chesed. Hashem was just expressing his own kindness. Hashem wants to do kindness. Hashem is being good. But nowadays, we have to bring down Hashem's tainug, Hashem's desire and delight in the world. So it sounds like we're speaking about the same level of tainug. It's just a matter, originally it's coming from Hashem himself, and now we have to arouse it. But the Rebbe says, no, the Yeshloimar, it's not only about how Hashem's delight is going to be brought into the world. Is it coming from Hashem himself on its own? Or is it coming through man's avodah? But in truth, there's a difference. Really, there's a difference in the Ratzon and Tainug itself, which as the Rebbe is about to explain, that when it comes as a result of avodah, it's going to be a different kind of and a greater sort of Tainug. When we speak about that the Eibishter, as a result of his kindness, he's creating the world, then what's the purpose? The purpose is the world itself. That is the purpose. The Eibishter created the world. You don't need anything more than that. In other words, even if there's no avodah, it was already created, a revealed idea, that Hashem's kindness is being revealed. So that's number one. Number one that happens when the Eibishter creates the world. This is an expression of Hashem's chesed. But then there's another tainug of the Eibishter. It's not only about Hashem's own chesed, kindness, his own kindness that's being expressed when the world is created. There's now something deeper that happens as a result of the avodah, and that is the tainug and ratzon of Hashem, that he wants a dira b'tachtoinim. And that it should happen as a result of our avodah. So when we reveal that pleasure of Hashem in the world, that the whole purpose is that there should be a yid, and that the yid is doing avodah, etc. So when that kavanah is revealed, that itself, that Tainug itself of the Eibishter gives the Yid the Koyach to be able to make the world into a place for Hashem. The Zeshen is boy, Lil Shana Sin is Koyach Ladam, Lifel Babrio, Gilu Shayda Shana Shama, Yina Shvua, Hu Benegay Adam. The Rebbe is now explaining why are we suddenly saying that the person needs Koyach to transform the world. Didn't we say already earlier that the way the person has the ability to deal with the world is because we were Megala, the Shoirish of the Neshama of the Yid? Why are we now suddenly saying something new? So the Rebbe says, well, we said before that's as far as the person is concerned, how he could go and deal with the world, because his Shoirish HaNeshama was revealed. But as far as the world is concerned, how is the world able to be transformed? We understand how the person is able to deal with the world, but how is the world able to be transformed? Is when it's revealed the whole purpose of why the world is even here to start with. The whole world is here for the Yidden, and for the Yidden to elevate. That's automatically what allows the world to be transformed and to be elevated. Says the Rebbe in Shiur, we now go back to one of the original questions. And our original question was, where Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbos, it's all very nice to say that Hashem's Tainug is there, but what about Avodah? Seemingly the Avodah of Shofar is missing. So now we can explain why there is the mile of Avodah. We explained previously, in the previous if of the Maamar, we were explaining, or this if before that rather, in if ches, we were explaining that really the kavanah of everything is for the person to be able to do his avodah. Even the kavanah of the shvua, and the kavanah of tainug, the kavanah of drawing down Hashem's tainug, and the tainug itself, the atik, etc., is really all there for the person. That's what we explained before. And we just explained what does that mean, that the tainug is there for the person, because when that tainug, Hashem's delight in the world, is revealed, now what's the purpose of the world? It's all about making a dira for Hashem. That itself helps the person to transform the world. As we explained earlier regarding the shvua, but we also explained, when we were speaking about the idea of shvua, of an oath, or a lashon soiva, that it's to satisfy, fill the person with koiches, we said the whole purpose is that it doesn't just remain that the neshama is tapped in to its source, it also has to be begilui, it also has to be revealed. So again, since the whole point of drawing down the tainik is for the nesinas koyach to the person, and that's only when that's revealed. We need to have that in a revealed way. And what did we say earlier is the thing that actually reveals this tainug? That's the psukim of shofars. The kivin shegam b'Rosh Hashanah shechali is b'Shabbos giluya tainug. Who idea midas psukim shofars to reveal this tainug, which is what's really needed for the person to do his avodah. As we explained earlier in the Maamar, that it all happens through the psukim. Nimtza, therefore, what comes out is shegamo avodah the midas psukim shofars he benagel the inyan ikri. Before we asked, the inyan of shofars l'chayda is not achieving so much. It's only revealing that which is there anyways because of Shabbos, if it's a case of Shabbos. But now, says the Rebbe, once we explain this idea that the whole point of the tainug is all there to allow the person to do his avodah, to be able to make a dira b'tachtoinim. And the way we reveal the tainug is through the psukim of shofars, and revealing the tainug is something so crucial. Therefore, it's not just another thing we're doing, we're saying the psukim. This is something so crucial and essential regarding the whole avodah, is saying the psukim of shofars, because that's what reveals Hashem's tainug, which gives the person the koiches. Says the Rebbe, to add another point. This that we said earlier, that Tkiyah Shofar only draws down Hashem's tainug. But v'hagilui, who idea Torah, the revelation of it is through Torah, amiras psukim shofar, by saying the psukim. Who mepnei sha'ashoyresh ha'Torah hu l'mayla mishoyresh ha'mitzvahs. The reason why the Torah could, so to speak, reveal it is because the shoyrish of Torah, the root of Torah, is even higher than mitzvahs, and that's why Torah could actually cause this greatest revelation. Says the Rebbe, V'yesh l'kasher zeh ma'mavur b'hemshech hanal. So now we could connect it to something else that's explained in the Hemshech of the Rebbe Rashab, which is the Yeshoid Maile Ba'amiras Psukei Shofros. Simply, till now we were saying the Shofar is just revealing, the Psukei Shofros are just revealing whatever the mitzvah achieved. You have the mitzvah, and then Torah or the Psukim are revealing that Hamshacha. But in the Rebbe Rashab and Samach Vav explains another point. That which is being brought down through the shofar is just the oir, is just the light and revelation. Is meo atzmos. But in order to reveal it, you actually need a greater koyach to be able to reveal this oir. Seemingly, you would say the revelation is lower than the hamshacha. But the Rebbe Rashab says no. In order to reveal it, that itself is coming from atzmos. And therefore, therefore, specifically the psukim is bringing about, so to speak, that deepest, most hidden level of atzmos, bedugmas hagilu she'elos, it's similar to what's going to be when Mashiach comes. If that's the case, says the Rebbe, this now explains to us even more. That even when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, we do have this amazing idea called avodah. Why? Because saying the psukim shofar itself, that is the avodah. And different to what we thought originally, that it's just about revealing what was achieved through shofar. The Rebbe is now saying, no, it's in order to reveal that, it's actually, in order to cause that gili, we just said, it's actually now a greater amshacha, because in order to cause the gili, we said, is really amshacha from atzmos. And therefore, in a certain sense, dafka, saying the psukim, is so much of a greater avodah. Says the Rebbe, the kivan sheshabbos when you're menucha v'ataynik, since Shabbos in essence is a day of menucha, tranquility, rest, pleasure, delight. So gama avodah Rosh Hashanah shecholi is b'Shabbos. Also the avodah when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos. V'al derech zo avodah the erev Rosh Hashanah. So to the avodah of erev Rosh Hashanah. Him yitoich menucha v'ataynik is all in a state of peacefulness, of serenity, pleasure, delight. And this impacts the rest of the year. That it should be a year. Of menucha and pleasure. And the ultimate menucha, the real menucha of Yom Shekul Shabbos, or menucha l'chayei ha'olamim, of a karev mamish ba'agala done.